Good afternoon. The 26th of Adar, March the 22nd, and we are in a holding pattern. We are holding because of COVID-19, also known as the coronavirus. And we were all, most of us, indoors, especially us old folks. There was a story that I was privy to hear from a Dr. Jacobovitz. His mom, the wife of Lord Emmanuel Jacobovitz, was hospitalized for a coronary issue, and the doctors prescribed that she needed a pacemaker. There's only one problem. This was Great Britain. And in Great Britain, due to the wisdom of the initiators of socialized medicine, it was deemed inefficient and unworthy to give Mrs. Jacobovitz a pacemaker. This is because she was over 75, and after 75, the great thinkers of socialized medicine determined that you've lived long enough, it's not necessary to give you an elongator. Mrs. Jacobovitz was being treated in a wing in a hospital which bore her name and her husband's name. It was a very rich benefactor who gave millions of pounds to that hospital in their honor, and the wing was named after them. And this seemed quite odd for the son, a doctor who lives in Chicago, that in the very wing named after his mother could not receive proper medical attention. He then went to the doctors and told them that this is a religious issue. Our religion prohibits age discrimination, and my mother must have a pacemaker immediately. Well, the authorities didn't know how to handle religion. And so Mrs. Jacobovitz was given a pacemaker past the age of 75 and lived very many healthy years afterwards. The point of the story that I'm making is that the health and well-being of our elderly, myself included, is somehow not really a consideration for the great thinkers and planners and social engineers of the world. Because to them, we've lived our life. All we do is take up space and enjoy the earth's resources without replenishing them. At least that's the theory. In truth, the elderly have put a lot of energy and resources into the world, and my thoughts are they should be able to reap the benefits of the resources that they've implanted in the world, whether it be good deeds, monetary investments, creation of jobs, or whatever. And this brings me to the coronavirus. The coronavirus has locked everything down. There are no sports events. There's hardly any traveling all around. Governors are issuing orders that people stay indoors, except for that which is absolutely necessary. Commerce is slowing down. The stock market has lost 35% of its value. And there seems to be no end in sight, at least for the present time. And the question is, of course, why? And you want to know a secret? Nobody knows. Even the wise men that look at things and try to interpret what is going on, we really don't know. We're just making a good guess. So why am I making a video about this? Because my guess is just as good as anybody else's. We live at a time where the value of life is at an all-time low. What do you mean, the value of life is all-time low? How could you say such a thing? We promote life and good life and help people. Well, I'll give you two examples. The conventional wisdom of the media is that abortion is a God-given right to a woman, and no restrictions should be placed upon a woman's right to choose, even when the child is viable. Even when the child is viable. That means even a late-term abortion during the last trimester. And in Virginia, even if a child is born in a botched-up abortion, they let the child die. Does that sound like protecting life to you? Not to me. It sounds like people want to indulge in their own desires and don't care about consequences and don't care about whom it hurts. There's another aspect to this. I said this over 40 years ago, about 45 years ago to be exact. After Roe v. Wade, I predicted that the next step would be assisted suicide and eventually medical murder, also known as medicide. People said, oh, no, this would never happen. Of course it happened. There are several states in the Union which permit doctor suicide and have very lax laws of restricting this. Furthermore, many Western countries, most notably the Netherlands, the number one cause of death at one time was medicide. Doctors inducing death because they deemed the life of their patient to be no longer of the quality of life that they should want to have. Now, who gave the doctors that right? I don't think it was the Satan or the angel of death, and certainly not God. But society, quote unquote, the pointy-headed thinkers of our time have decided that they understand what is life and what's the value of life. Quality of life demands that a woman has a right to choose and murder her baby. Oh, it's not murder. You're right, it's not murdering exactly. It's only murder to an unborn child. The child is viable. And even if the child wasn't viable, it will be viable within a short period of time. And it's not any less than a patient with tubes in their body, giving them nurturing, giving them nourishment and oxygen. That's what a fetus is like, a patient on a hospital bed. The hospital happens to be the mother's womb, and the bed is the placenta, and it's being nurtured. Oxygen is given to it. No difference. This is a live thing that has feelings. But people are so cold to call it just a bunch of cells. You know, when this Holocaust started, it wasn't 1939. It wasn't 1940 41 when they started the Einsatzgruppen. Nor was it 42 when they started mass murders in Treblinka and Auschwitz. No, the Holocaust started when Hitler started killing all the retarded babies. Those retarded children that you see in pictures, those beautiful kids that were being led by these nice-looking nannies, led to their deaths. That was when the Holocaust began. Because when you can kill your own babies, no matter what the reason might be, you have no compunction about killing somebody else's. But enough philosophizing, enough calling people out. What's the reason why everybody's indoors? Why don't people want to talk to each other? Because we're afraid we're going to infect somebody else or get it ourselves. But what are you afraid of? 80, 90% of the people who are dying are people like me. Older people. Younger people have almost no chance of dying from COVID-19 unless they've got a certain problem, a certain immunological problem, the system is compromised, etc. So why are you afraid? Because you're afraid of getting grandpa and grandma sick. Not yours, somebody else's, but you're afraid of getting somebody older sick. Now, think about it. You're willing to shut down the entire economy of the free world and the rest of the world. The entire world's economy is basically shut down now. Why? Because we don't want our older people to get COVID-19. Because you want them to live. Oh, you want them to live, so why don't you want to give them a pacemaker at age 75? Why do you encourage them to die by doctor-assisted suicide or by medicide? Why do you think that the life of an elderly person just doesn't have that much value? There's not enough quality of life there. And so the message that really has to resonate from this whole procedure of COVID-19 is, think about giving life. Think about maintaining life. Think about the dignity of life itself. And in the process, life means to be enthusiastic. Be enthusiastic in helping another person. If you give charity, do it enthusiastically. If somebody needs your help, smile and help them. And that's the reason I think we have this pause in our activities, to give us time to reflect on the value of life. And life doesn't just mean flesh and bone life. Life means enthusiasm. Life means eternal life. Life means helping another person. That's what life is all about. Instead of infecting other people, let's help other people. Let's value the lives of other people. Let's value the careers. Let's value the bodies of the unborn and the older. Let's help another person who's in need. It's not a government's job to help another person. It's our job. And it's our job to do it with enthusiasm, because that's life. Life is enthusiasm. Life is wanting to do something. Life is wanting to get ahead and do something important. So let's do something important. That's easy. Let's give charity with enthusiasm. Let's help another person with enthusiasm. Let's protect the unborn. Let's protect the elderly. Let's protect the society so that we all are sensitive to the value of life. Life is the ultimate gift of God. And when God gives us life, God will also give us the means to endure that life, the livelihood, and also the things that bring us pleasure, and ultimately will bring God pleasure too.